Hello, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time, we didn't really learn anything, but Emmy, we did mini sexes of varying varieties of sexes, whole plethora, endless smorgasbord of sexes, and then Emmy said that we can't hang out with her because she's got to focus on studying, and every time she's around us, she wants to pee-pee touch. She said, I gotta focus on studies, and we said, that makes sense. And then we had sex, and then now we're here. Ian. It's weird how easily Emmy and I can keep from seeing one another after class now. Actually, I'd venture to say it's vaguely disturbing. As easily as we'd come together, we seemed to split apart without much trouble. Well, I guess that's not exactly true. We've both been pretty bummed after the last night together. And we get to see each other every morning for our runs, and just our runs, I might add. Lunch too. I especially enjoy lunchtime with her. We have plenty of time to talk about things outside of school, whereas the morning runs have become increasingly businesslike. I think it's because Emmy wants to make up for our foolery in the storage shed. But no matter how much we joke at lunch, I can't help feeling a little worried about her. She seems distracted more often, and I've caught her fidgeting nervously more than once. Never figured her to be someone who cared that deeply about exams, but they certainly seem to be taking their toll. Even though they haven't even started. This is just the run-up, the deep breath before the plunge. Tomorrow, the real trials begin. Or the real exams, anyway. As for me, I actually don't feel that worried about exams at all. I'm not sure why. I mean, they're pretty important. My scores here will determine my odds of getting into a good university. Hell, if I'm too cavalier now, it could spell doom for my academic career. But going into them, I feel confident that I'll come out the other side okay. Muto thinks I've got the science examination locked up at any rate. Or as he says, the last thing that should give you trouble is my exam, Hisao. It's way beneath your talents. Then again, it is Muto who's telling me this. His praise of me carries the veiled implication that anything less than perfect from me would be a disappointment, which has actually caused me to fret more than I should about the exam. It's for that reason that I find myself in the library after class poring over the textbook. Pretty simple things to look over, some formulas of velocity, a few bits about friction. A walk in the park compared to my dreaded English exam. Never was good with language. As I flip through my notes one more time, my mind begins to wander. After these exams are over, things should get easier. Soon we'll be graduated, then off to college hopefully. I remember my abortive attempt to find out what Emmy plans to do after school. She avoided the subject pretty deftly, as I recall. Heck, it seems that just about every time I push too hard, she dances around the subject, or distracts me through other means. Like a few days ago at lunch when Ren wasn't around. Heh. I've done it! I'm startled from my reverie by Yuko's triumphant shout. Gah! Yuko seems mortified at my sudden starting. Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I just got... And I really wasn't... And it's just that... As she stutters, I move to quickly calm her down before she gets too agitated. Whoa, hey. My words seem ineffective. Yuko continues to work herself into a complete frenzy. And it's a library, and I shouldn't be... Easy there, just calm down. And really, I'm setting a bad example, and I'll get fired because I can't do anything right. Yuko! Shouting seems to work, though I draw the ire of several other students trying to study in the library. Yuko snaps to attention like a soldier who's just heard the captain bark an order. Sorry. Calm down, it's okay. You just startled me a little, and that's only because I was daydreaming instead of studying. So really, you got me back on task. This is a complete lie, but it seems to work. Yuko takes a deep breath and seems to calm down a little, though she keeps shifting around with a nervous energy that seems awfully familiar. So what's got you so excited anyway?
The Yamaku cat burglar!
To her credit, Yuko manages to convey her intense excitement in a whisper.
I think I know who it is. I got an anonymous tip as to their identity. So I did some spying, and I think the tipster was right.
Oh, really? And who was this, burglar? Yuko shuts her mouth, shaking her head decisively.
Nope, I can't tell you that.
Why not?
It's between me and the burglar. I can't risk you warning him that I'm onto his game. He could tip his hand early and blow town. Then I'm left with no perp.
When did Yuko start talking like a hard-boiled detective? I wouldn't warn them. Why would I care?
If you've got to ask that question, then you don't need to know.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Congratulations, I guess?
Thanks! What for?
The, cat burglar thing? Yuko nods and smiles appreciatively.
So, studying for exams?
Well, that was the plan. I'm not having much luck, though.
Really? Is it because you can't find a book? I'm really sorry. I've been meaning to clean the shelves up for weeks now, but I keep getting distracted. I'm so sorry.
Whoa, wait. Not that. I've got my book right here. To illustrate the point, and hopefully calm Yuko down, I show her the textbook in front of me. My mind just keeps wandering is all.
Is it because of the noise in here? I'm trying to be more strict about the noise levels, but I can't bring myself to yell at people. I mean, aren't their lives hard enough without me throwing my authority around?
No, it's not the noise either, I promise. Just horny. Hell, I don't know. Worried about Emmy. Worried about us. Worried about what happens after we graduate. Emmy's been kind of weird lately.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how we're dating now. I just don't know that we're actually, well, a couple, or at least I don't know that we're beyond friends. Though friends normally don't do the sorts of things we do. Physically, we're a couple. Coupling, at least. It's like every time I try to find out more about her, or about what she wants to do with her life, she dodges the question. Like the other day, I was talking to her at lunch about some schools I'd been looking into. And I asked her, have you looked into any schools lately? She shrugs in response, says no, and when I ask why not, she says that she doesn't think that far ahead. Well, then she did tell you. So what is your point? I asked why she had that policy, and I suddenly realized that I'm about to start describing and wisely decide to clam up.
She what?
She changed the subject. Wouldn't talk about it.
Maybe it's an uncomfortable subject for her. Or she just doesn't think it needs explaining.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Every time I try to find out what's been bothering her, she changes the subject too. It's like she likes being with me, but not getting close to me. How long have you guys even known each other? I think you're really expecting a lot of her just because you guys pee-pee touch. Now that I've said it out loud, I feel worse. Yuko digests this bit of information.
You know, it seems to me that you're more serious about this than she is.
I can almost feel my stomach twist into a knot. She's right. That's exactly what it seems like. But is that really what's going on? I mean...
Sorry, I'm just talking nonsense. You shouldn't take my advice, you barely know me. I'm just a librarian, and I'm single, so you can imagine I can't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think you have a point. As much as it hurts to even consider it, Yuko seems to try desperately to find a way to soften the blow somewhat.
Look. I'm probably wrong, but if you want to be sure of how obviously wrong I am, maybe you should just talk to her. Get some time alone and just ask about it. And don't let her change the subject either.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. I don't know if I have the fortitude, though. When she get naked, what am I supposed to do?
just not engage? That sounds crazy.
Maybe I should just enjoy what I have. We have fun hanging out after all. And the runs are nice, and the other activities are nice, and talking to her is nice. Do I really need to get closer to her? What I've got right now is pretty good. That's silly. I want to get closer to her. I want to be able to help her out with whatever is bothering her. But maybe I should wait until after exams are over. Maybe she'll brighten up once the stress is past. If she does, then I don't need to worry about it anymore. But if she doesn't, well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I thank Yuko for her advice and head back to my room. Maybe I'll be able to concentrate more on my studies in there.
I leave the room after finishing my final exam and breathe a sigh of relief. As I'd hoped, the exams weren't so bad. I managed to breeze through just about everything but the English final, and even that was acceptable. I wonder how Emmy did. Even more so, how she's doing. She looked terrible at lunch today. I mean, she was pretty happy to be out of her wheelchair, but she was so exhausted. Something's been wearing her down, and I'm starting to really doubt that it was just the exams. Should I confront her about this, though? My musing is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. Hey, Hisao. Got a minute? I have other things to worry about. Why? I mean, he can't be... Yeah, I have a few minutes. Yeah, I've got some time. Nowhere important to be or anything like that. Uto raises an eyebrow as if questioning my statement, that then beckons me back into the classroom. I wanted to get some feedback from you if I could. I know that this course wasn't quite up to your level. Don't worry about it. The science club activities more than made up for it. Did they? Well, in fact, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think that was a worthwhile activity, just for my own reference? Well, yeah, it was a great way to go further than we did in class. It was definitely worthwhile. Uto seems delighted by my response. That's great. Exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. You know, Hisao, I'm glad you came here. It's always good to have a student who really gets into the subject you teach. In a way, it makes dealing with the rest of the students more tolerable. You're a bright kid, too. You took to this stuff like a duck to water, and some other such smile. And some other such simile. Thanks. You were a great help, especially with that college stuff. There's one more thing, Hisao. A bit of advice from one scientist to another. What's that? What does a scientist do? Observe the world around him. Exactly. Good. Simple question, but one that most people can't seem to answer. It's the essence of a scientist, Hisao. We observe what's there and try to figure it out. But what if there's something you can't figure out? What's a scientist to do if he can't observe something? How, for example, can we talk about quarks when nobody has ever actually seen one, or black holes when observing them directly is impossible? Well, scientific equipment's pretty advanced. Uto irritably waves away my response. No, that's not it at all. Those are tools. I'm trying to give you a philosophy. Think, if you can't observe directly, then how can you observe it? Indirectly? Guess? How? How would you guess the movement of a quark when what is your guess based on? Of course. Should have thought of it earlier. The things it affects. Uto claps his hands together excitedly and whoops. Yes, exactly, good! Remember that, Hisao. If you can't examine something directly, it's because you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it differently if you want to uncover the truth, and if it eludes you, then look at what it leaves behind. That is the essence of being a scientist. We never stop looking for the answer, never take anything for granted. Observe, experiment, and observe some more. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes no sense, Hisao. Your job is to get it to make sense. Force it into submission. Make it make sense!
Nothing else, I hope you've learned that here. I think I can remember that. Muto smiles, satisfied. Good. Now go enjoy your time off. You've earned it. I leave the room, feeling a little confused. What brought that on? Although, am I going about this thing with Emmy the wrong way? If she won't tell me, then can I go about it some other way? The question keeps spinning in my head even after I made my way back to my room. What if she gets angry about it? Besides, what if it's nothing? If I go in and refuse to leave until she tells me what's wrong or something, does that come off as clingy? I don't want to start a fight or anything over something like this. Maybe I should just drop the matter and see how she is tomorrow before I do anything. Would it be so bad to just let it go? It's not like we don't enjoy each other's company, but odd as it sounds, I really want to help her. Why do you act like it's so odd to want to help people? Isao, what's wrong with you? I don't even know what with or if there's anything at all she needs help for. But I want to. Suddenly a knock at my door rouses me. Oh god. I open it to see Kinji. Oh, it's you. It's me. That's it. If you had any idea what I'd been through, what I'd done, you'd be happier to see me, dude. I mean, that was some epic you may never see me again shit. And here you're just acting like I went down the store for some milk. You're a cold man, Hisao. I really respect that. Thanks, I guess. Smart to play it safe, you know. Don't show any emotion. Keep your cards close to your chest. Unless it's time to show your cards or you have bad cards. Then you should fold or collect your winnings. Do you understand? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I take it the mission went well? Whoa, awfully nosy of you, isn't it? You can't just go saying things like that. Things are at a delicate stage. One wrong move and BAM! The invasion succeeds. Thought you were going to blow the conspiracy wide open. It's bigger than that, man. I need to update my charts. Probably change some of the puppets around. You wanna help? Got some whiskey from somewhere. You can fill me in on everything your investigation has turned up. Better not. I'm supposed to meet her today. Gotta go do that. Can't raise suspicion. Kinji nods in approval. Still keeping it close to the chest, eh? Okay, man, I respect that. Good luck. Thanks. I'm just going to pretend, for the sake of my own sanity, that he's wishing me luck in talking to Emmy. And if I squint, that whole card analogy he was talking about works here. Time to lay it all on the table. Or see if I can't get Emmy to do so, rather. The sense of something approaching purpose, I head to Emmy's room. I hop up the stairs leading to her room and knock on her door.
Who's there?
Huh. That's odd. Her voice sounds a little choked. Hey, it's me. Thought I'd stop by.
Isao? Come on in.
I reach down to open the door, only to find that it's locked. More and more curious. Your door's locked.
Oh yeah. Sorry, give me a minute.
In a few minutes, Emmy opens the door grinning.
Sorry, I had to put my legs on. I was napping.
Despite her grin, there's something definitely off. Emmy's eyes are slightly red, and it looks like she's been crying. Hey, no problem. Are you okay?
Huh? Yeah, I'm fine.
It's just that you look like you've been crying. Oh yeah, Hisao, you're off to a great start on this one.
What? Nah, I'm fine. I'm just happy to see you.
She punctuates this with a long kiss that continues as the door slams shut behind us. I know what she wants to do now, and I'm also painfully aware of how badly I want to do it too, but I break the kiss with a wrench of self-control that nearly kills me. Hey, wait. Emmy's eyes crinkle in confusion.
Huh? Wait for what?
We need to talk.
Isn't that supposed to be my line? And never a good thing to say?
She's got a point. It's usually the lead in to a breakup, or a prelude to a fight. Maybe it can be a good thing this time. That's the hope anyway.
Huh. Can we at least get onto the bed? It's my first day back on these things and I'm still readjusting. Plus, the nurse said I should try to be on them less often since running puts such a strain on them.
Can't argue with that. It's a trap, we both know it, and we both don't care. Then again, it's awfully hard to get angry when in bed with the object of your affections, so maybe there's that motivation too. I set Emmy's legs by the bedside and sit down next to her, throwing an arm around her shoulders. In silence, we just enjoy being able to be in this position again for a few minutes. Then, of course, I need to ruin it by opening my mouth. Look, I know that you've been having kind of a rough time of it lately, and I want to help you out. I thought it was just exams getting to you, but now I come to your room and you've been crying, and that kills me. But I can't do anything if you won't talk to me about it.
I told you I'm fine.
No, you aren't. It's obvious something's eating at you. You can tell me, you know. There's the slightest increase in tension in Emmy's voice.
Why is my saying I'm fine not good enough? You're concerned, I get that. That's cool. But I'm fine, and it's nothing you need to worry about.
Not sleeping and spacing out more than Rin doesn't strike me as being fine. I want to help.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't like seeing you like this. I want you to be happy, you know? I get the feeling that came out wrong because Emmy fixes me with an icy stare.
So you want to fix me, Hisao?
She's definitely getting angry now.
Want to swoop in on your white charger and save the day? Stop the nightmares, the phantom limb pains? Restore what's lost?
Her voice catches in her throat and the tears start to flow.
Well, you can't.
Oh God. That was an accident, actually.
Nobody can. Nobody will.
I'm so stunned by her sudden verbal assault that I remain quiet. Neither of us says anything for a while. Surprised that Emmy tightens her grip on me rather than pushing me away. After a deep breath, she starts talking again.
Look, I'm sorry. There's these nightmares. About the accident.
Ah, the accident. Should have known. Took her legs after all, but it never comes up, of course.
I usually deal with them fine because I can run. Running clears my head like nothing else. I don't have to worry about anything while I'm running. I just concentrate on breathing, on the rhythm of things. It's easier that way. Life's easier that way. Just keep moving forwards, you know. Nothing else matters. Just getting around the next curve. And then it's the next curve, and the next, and the next. Until I can't go anymore, or think anymore, or do anything but slow down and walk until I catch my breath again. After something like that, nothing else matters. But I've been stuck in that goddamn wheelchair for too long, so no outlet. Today it just kind of boiled over a little.
You could have talked to me about it, you know. You didn't have to go it alone. Emmy smiles sadly like she's trying to explain to a child that all fire burns.
Yeah, I did, and I do.
But why? Why do you have to keep going through this alone? Why can't you just trust me enough to let me help you? That smile again. Emmy leans in and kisses me on the cheek, an almost motherly gesture. She leaves her mouth close to my ear and she confesses this one thing to me.
Because, Hisao, I've already had everything I knew ripped away from me once. I don't know what I'd do if it happened again.
She pauses as if uncertain as to whether or not she should continue. I can feel a violent churning in my gut. She continues.
So I can't rely on you, or the nurse, or anyone else. Just me. That's how it's gotta be.
Having delivered this short speech, she looks down and covers her mouth with the back of her hand. Conversation is clearly over. I search for something to say but can't think of anything. Maybe I should go for now. I've got stuff. Emmy doesn't even look up. She sounds tired and She sounds tired or relieved. I can't tell which.
Okay, Hisao. Go take care of that stuff. I'll see you tomorrow.
I get off the bed and head for the door, pausing at the doorway. Hey, Emmy?
Yeah?
1,000 things I want to say. I'm too mixed up to say any of them, though. After her admitting that she'll never let me close, I feel like my world's just been ripped out from me. My world's just been ripped. I feel like my world's just been ripped out from me. What happened in that accident? I know she lost her legs, but that's never seemed to bother her. What happened there? What scares a girl so badly she won't accept help from someone she loves? I don't know. But I want to know. I want to know so badly that being denied that answer feels like a knife into my guts.
Hisao? You were saying?
Still standing in the doorway. Nothing. Never mind. And I'm closing the door, walking down the hallway, down the stairs, out the door, the dark. Somehow I wander back into my own room. My brains are doing a mile a minute, going nowhere fast. Figure out how to deal with this. Thought that moving forward was a good thing. Dwelling less on a past that I can't change, living in the present and looking at the future. After this thing with Emmy, I'm not sure anymore. She was saying the truth. It's simpler to look at the next curve, ignoring the path gone by. No worry about the opponent left behind, no care for the spectators on the sidelines. Unfortunately, no time to watch out for lagging teammates either. Throw myself down on the bed, looking at one corner of my ceiling as if the answers I want were written there. No such luck, of course. She's literally running away from something, but have I not been doing the same thing? Trying my best to forget about my hospitalization? I'm getting better, but my health isn't going to magically fix itself. He has 2 legs instead of a heart to deal with, but those aren't going to magically fix themselves either. Maybe this is just as fixed as the both of us can get. The room becomes darker and darker, until I can't really tell I'm looking at a corner anymore. The morning comes too soon, on the heels of a sleepless night. Is this how Emmy's been spending her nights? Staring at the wall or ceiling, trying to stop thinking about whatever it is. Her, in my case. That clenched feeling in my gut is still there. Can't rely on you. Words spoken so casually. Like she were teasing me or chastening me for suggesting that the earth is flat. That's how it's gotta be. The way it's gotta be sucks. I'm feeling so miserable that I very nearly decide to skip the run. That would be stupid though. It's not something I should do just to see her. Sure, that was the original reason, but it's something more now. I've started to enjoy the running itself. There are worse ways to get the blood flowing anyway. Never thought I'd say it after the first week or so, but I feel a lot better after a run. Like, no matter what else I do today, I've at least done that one thing. It wakes me up too, and Emmy herself said that running always clears her mind. Maybe it'll help clear mine. I hope so. Morning is cold and clear, if a bit humid. Summer's making itself known, it seems. Emmy's already stretching out when I arrive and greets me with a smile and a wave.
Hey, Hisao.
The sight of her so chipper is like a kick in the nuts. How can she be so happy after yesterday? I give a half wave and am surprised to receive a hug.
Hey, about last night.
Here it comes.
I wanted to say thanks. I actually managed to get some sleep for the first time in a while, and I think it's because of our talk. So thanks.
How could she sleep better after our chat? She basically told me that she wouldn't get any closer to me. And that let her sleep well? Excuse me, but what the hell? Emmy either doesn't notice my bafflement or chooses not to notice. No telling with her anymore. Oh, no problem, glad it helped. The venom that threatens to drip into my voice is controlled for now, but I think I'd better start running now before I do anything stupid. Emmy seems equally willing to get started, and before long, we're darting around the track. I can tell she feels more relaxed. Her running has gone back into the graceful movements I remember from when I first watched her. It's a stark contrast to the almost brutal way she's been hurling herself around in the track these past few days. Our talk does seem to have helped her. A pity it couldn't help me. I get into the rhythm of the running, thinking back to when I couldn't afford thinking about anything else but keeping my breathing steady and legs moving. Guess those days are gone. At least for the first couple of laps. Annoyed at the lack of success I'm having with clearing my head, I increase the pace. It's the burning sensation in my legs. The breaths come ragged in my chest, the pounding of my heart, which I still need to be careful about. But it does seem to have gotten stronger. I can feel it pumping blood through my veins, as it usually does because it's a heart. The sound thrums in my ears, but instead of being panicked, as I was that day in the snow, I'm instead filled with elation. Yes, it's working. My heart, that fatal flaw that landed me here, has improved. I'm able to keep going now, and maybe one day I'll be able to stop worrying as much. Right now, it doesn't matter that I have no idea what to do with Emmy and me. All that matters is that my arms and legs continue to pump in concert with one another. Nothing else. As I hit the final stretch, I remind myself that running really does help, though not as much as I'd hoped. I do feel better, and as I walk a few laps to cool down, I begin to remember last night in a slightly less emotional manner. Emmy wants me to stay distant from her. I can't bring myself to do so. There's gotta be a better way around this, some kind of middle ground I can reach. Not sure what that middle ground is, though. Damn, it's almost feeling optimistic.
Nice run, Hisao. You've really improved.
Nice run. That's all I can hope for now, isn't it? Congratulations, Hisao. You're pathetic. I gotta change my attitude. Well, you know, I am pretty awesome. And yet, I just keep saying things that I don't mean. Any second now, I'll be as good at hiding my problems as Emmy is.
I like to think so.
Why does she do this to me? Say something like that with such a real affection in her voice that it makes my heart leap. She doesn't mean it. She can't. Must be doing a worse job than I thought because Emmy peers closely at me.
Hey, you feeling okay? Maybe we should get to the nurse, huh?
Yeah, I'd hate to keel over on you. Emmy looks a little shocked at my bitter tone.
Don't say things like that. You've already done it once before, you know.
Why does she act so affectionate? Because she likes you. Why is it so black and white? She can love you and like you, but not want you to be close to her. I don't see why. What's the problem is? She doesn't really care. I thought she made that clear. No, you just said that that was the case. She didn't say she didn't care. She never said she didn't care. She said that she has to keep you at arm's length because she doesn't want to get hurt. She did not say anything about not caring about you. You're a dumby. But despite all of that, I find myself apologizing, even though I shouldn't have to. Even though she's probably just putting on an act. Sorry. Come on, let's see the nurse. I can't get myself to calm down the whole time. Every time it feels like I've gotten over what happened last night, Emmy does something or says something that shows affection and I'm back to the beginning. The image of her ending that conversation haunts me. It was like the final twist of the knife. It was like the final twist of the knife that left me feeling bereft of any hope that Emmy and I could be more than what we were. And what are we at this point? Little more than friends who happen to fuck? That sounds like a sentence I made up, but that's what it says. And really, it's not like I don't enjoy the time I spend with her. I said so the other day myself. I very nearly didn't even bring anything up with her. Was just gonna hop on in there and let it ride, wasn't I? You sure were gonna do that. You decided not to. This running through my head, I find myself in front of the nurse's office still brooding as he checks out Emmy. Emmy comes bounding out the door, gives me a kiss, and darts off to the shower, I assume. while the nurse beckons me into his office to give me the ritual once-over. Any problems today? I even pushed it a little harder today than I have in the past, and I seemed able to handle it. That's uncharacteristically risky coming from you, Hisao. You've been hanging out with Emmy too much. She's rubbed off on you, and not necessarily in a good way. At the mention of Emmy's name, I can't help but frown unhappily in spite of my efforts at control. Well now, this is new, don't you think? Last I checked, your usual response to Emmy's name was a grin, not a frown. What exactly happened between you two? Because Emmy doesn't seem to be in on it, whatever it is. She looked more relaxed than I've seen her in weeks, which is unusual for this time of year. What do you mean by that? By what? For this time of year. I keep trying to find out what's been bothering her, but she clams up as soon as I broach the subject. Then last night she said, let me guess, she won't tell you because she says she can't trust you? And now you're crushed because you thought that the two of you were so much more than she seems to think, right? More or less. How the heck did you know? Hisao, I'm the nurse. It's my job to know these things. Plus, I've known Emmy for long enough to know that she'd try to do something like this. It's just like her. He says this in the sort of half-affectionate, half-frustrated tone that would seem more appropriate if he had a cigarette dangling from his lips. As it is, he seems willing to make do with a pen. Look, mind if I give you some advice? Sure, why not? What was it Mutao said yesterday? You can't observe the thing, then observe what's around it? Worth a shot. The nurse knows Emmy better than I do, I'll wager. Sure, I'm open to suggestions. Honestly, I'm kinda lost. I've got no idea how to deal with this. I never would have guessed. He grins while he says this. I think he's kidding. Look, here's the deal. Emmy is stubborn. You should know that by now, and if you don't, then you're pretty unobservant. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm so grateful. Anyway, if she's decided that she doesn't want to talk to you about what happened, then she's not going to talk about what happened. Has she said anything about what's been bothering her? Even a hint? Well, she did say she's been having nightmares about the accident. Really? You're making progress then. That's good. Well, I guess I can fill you in on this without violating my strict non-inference policy when it comes to Emmy making stupid decisions. The anniversary of her accident is coming up soon. She gets depressed around this time because it was a pretty traumatic event considering what she lost. That's the other thing. She acted like she lost more than just her legs. What happened? I don't think he can tell you that. Whoa, nope, not going there. We'll have to ask someone else about that because that's a whole can of worms I'm not about to open. Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to tell people that anyway. Emmy wants you to know, she'll tell you in her own time. You've just got to be patient, that's all. Why are you helping me with all this? Because you're good to her. She trusts you, even if you don't think she does. And you've got the best chance out of anyone in this school right now to help her through this time of year. She won't accept my help, but she might accept yours if you don't screw it up. So don't screw it up, got it? Open my mouth to respond, but a knocking sound at the door interrupts me.
Hey, you guys still in there?
Just a moment, Emmy. Give us a second to get our pants back on. Emmy, the door, oh my gosh. I can't read. The door bursts open and Emmy glares knives at the nurse.
Asshole.
Didn't mean to get your hopes up. Hey, can we leave me out of this? Anyway, what's up, Emmy? Forget something? I try to take a more cheerful tone with her. No need to upset her. Two can play the everything's fine game. Why would you want to play the everything's fine game? If you're upset about something, why don't you just tell the person that you're upset? Especially if you guys are, like, involved. Or appear to be. It seems as though you both agreed that you are in a relationship, so I don't know. It's a little sussy.
Actually, I forgot to ask you something.
Oh, what's that?
Do you want to come with me on a trip to my house? My mom's making dinner, and I thought you might want to join us.
Well, of course, I accept. Emmy punches the nurse in the arm playfully.
Not you, idiot. You were over last week. I was talking to Hisao.
Oh, how interesting, meeting the parent. I'd love to go, Emmy, thanks. The nurse raises an eyebrow but says nothing.
Great, I'll be in my room. Swing by after you shower and change into something clean and we'll grab the bus.
Sounds good, I'll see you in a bit. This time it's me who leans in for a quick kiss before darting off to my room. What an interesting development. Maybe we're getting closer after all. Maybe Emmy's finally ready to open up a little. Or maybe she's just being polite and a free meal seems like a good way to apologize for last night. Great. Now I can't decide whether to be excited, nervous, or depressed. I'd settle for nervous-sighted. That seems like a good one. Not depressed. Don't do that one if you can avoid it. I settle for a combination of all three and hop in the shower. Okay, well, I mean, that's a good compromise.
Alright. Well, I think we're on the track to something good. I wasn't sure there for a minute. It had me, and I thought maybe I was in the bad spot. But I think that I'm on the track to the good ending. Because I think that if it was the bad ending, that I probably would have not been invited to her house. But who knows? These endings sometimes they just be wildin'. They'll always catch me off guard. They keep me on my toesy woesies. So, I guess we will see more about the decisions I've chosen in the next video.